Graphing functions. How do you graph a function? Well, calculators can graph functions for you, but what are they doing? So we're going to learn tricks for graphing later. There are special ways to graph all the different types of functions, but this is a method that works for everything. A function's graph is a collection of points x comma y where f of x equals y. So what that looks like is if we have f of x equals x plus 2, what we can do is we can set up a data table. And we can say, okay, 0 plus 2 is 2. So we'll put that there. And when we do 1 plus 2, that's 3. And then 2 plus 2 is 4. So going from here to here is applying the function rule of x plus 2. That gives us this data table. Now we can find this 0, comma 2 is a point on the graph. 0, comma 2 is here. 1, comma 3 is there. So we're going to plot each of these points on the graph. And once we've plotted all of those points, we can connect the points and the pattern will continue no matter based off of this pattern. I happen to know that this pattern continues, and we will be learning all the various different patterns over the course of Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Pre-Calculus, or most of them, the most important ones. So this is what the calculator is doing. It's taking the function, making a data table, filling in the x's, then filling in the y's, plotting the points, and connecting the dots. Now, if we do this, we have 0 is, if we plug in 0 first, we'll get 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 6 is 0 minus 0 minus 6, and that's going to be negative 6. So negative 6 will go here. You repeat this for each of these, and you'll get a table. So you plug in the various numbers into this function, and you'll get those values for a table. So if you're curious how I got this, it's 3 squared minus 2 times 3 minus 6. This is 9 minus 6 minus 6 is 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Now we plot each of these points. So 0, comma negative 6 is here. Here's 1, comma negative 7. Here's 2, comma negative 6. Here's 3, comma negative 3. I've continued the table. I didn't write it out, but here's 4, comma 2. And I believe this point is 5, comma 9. So if you look at this pattern, you can connect those dots. And really what the calculator is doing when it's completing this is it's really saying every point, it's taking every point along this curve and it's plugging in this number and then this number. It's plugging in all of those numbers and figuring out that the pattern is this. So really when it's tracing these, it's actually calculating out for 3, then for 3.01, then 3.02, then 3.03. Depending on how far you zoom in, it'll calculate to different decimals. But that's what the calculator is doing, and that's how you get the graphs. You can do this by hand. If you forget how to graph a particular type of graph after we've learned it, you may always make a data table, fill in the y values, and plot the points. Every algebraic function over the real numbers can be graphed this way. Create a data table with enough inputs, evaluate the function for each input to complete the data table, and graph each xy pair listed in the data table. That's how you graph functions.